question. The one I really want to talk about is homeostasis, water balance, because this one is the one that students get confused with a lot, and because it's so complex. So I'm going to try and break this down as slowly for you as I can. So with water balance, if there is too much or too little water in your body, this can cause your organs to not function very properly. That's why our body needs to be able to coordinate the level of water in our body. So if our body fluids are too dilute, so if there's too much water, this goes all the way back to our transport topic, osmosis. If there's too much water in our body, water is going to go into our cells through osmosis and causing the cells to possibly burst. The opposite might happen if there's too little water in our body. There's going to be more water in the cells, water's going to move out of it through osmosis, and the cells could shrink. Therefore, it's so important that we coordinate any the water balance. So removing any excess water, ions and urea, and this all takes place within the kidneys. This produces urine and maintains water balance. So sometimes you might think, why is my urine more clear in other days and why is it more yellow in other days? It's because there's either more water or less water in your urine, depending on how much water you have in your system. So this water balance is controlled by the hormone ADH. If you want to know the full name of ADH, it is antidiuretic hormone. I'm going to type that in the chat just in case anyone wants to know. Because sometimes they do give you the full thing. Diuretic. Let's spell this wrong. Antidiuretic hormone, that is ADH. And this is released by the pituitary gland when the blood is too concentrated. So when there's when there's too little water in the blood, that is detected, and the ADH is going to be released by this pituitary gland once there's too little water in the blood. The pituitary gland is essentially the master gland in their brain. It secretes multiple different hormones and in response to multiple different body conditions, but the one you mainly need to know is ADH within water balance. The role of ADH is to increase the permeability of the kidney tubules. So if it's more permeable in the tubules, more water is going to be reabsorbed into our body, into the blood. And this is a very classic example of a negative feedback and controlled. So if the blood is more concentrated, so there's very little water in the blood, there's going to be more ADH released. So that's negative feedback. So I'm going to explain the concept of ADH again because it can be confusing. With the release of ADH, this causes our kidney tubules to be more permeable, meaning more water is going to be able to be reabsorbed. And this is going to be confusing because of the next question I'm about to show you. Here is a question on ADH. I'm going to give you guys a minute to look through this and I'm going to explain it. This is where it gets a bit confusing, but I'll give you guys a minute to. Okay, hopefully you have read the question. So it's asking you how the decrease in concentration of ADH would cause the changes shown. And the decrease, it shows you that the concentration of dissolved substance in the urine is very low, and the rate of urine production is very high with a low concentration of ADH. So now I'm going to go through why this is. As I've said, ADH makes the kidney tubules a lot more permeable. meaning more water is going to be able to be reabsorbed. In this case, talking about decrease. So if there's less ADH, it's going to be less permeable to water. Less water is going to be reabsorbed. If there's less water reabsorbed, more water is going to be in your bladder. So this is the confusing part. If there's water reabsorbed into your body, then there's going to be more water in your blood, and you're going to have less water in your urine, in your bladder. However, if there is less ADH, less permeable kidney tubules, less water is being reabsorbed into the blood. Therefore, more water is going to be in your urine. If there's more water in your urine, you're going to want to have to go to the bathroom more. So rate of urine production is going to be a lot higher, explaining the higher urine production in the table. Concentration of dissolved substances in the urine is a lot lower because there's more water. So in contrast, in concentration, it's going to be a lot lower. So the answer right here tells you here, tubules are less permeable to water, less water is reabsorbed, more water in urine causing increased rate of production, and more water in urine causing lower concentration of dissolved substances. So that is water balance. Anybody have any questions regarding that? Because it is very wordy. If not, I am going to move on to the next part of nervous system and homeostasis and all of that. So the nervous system. The nervous system, you need to know a few things. The nervous system allows humans to react to their surroundings. The nervous system essentially coordinates all of your behavior, all of your movements, like even your eyes, your smell, your talking, your taste. Everything is coordinated by the nervous system. So it's very, very important. Sorry, someone asked me to explain something again. Which part do you want me to explain? Can you please elaborate? Because is it the ADH stuff? Because I know that is quite difficult to understand. Yeah, could you elaborate on what I'm explaining? At ADH. Okay, yeah. It is a hard part. Don't worry. I'm gonna go back to it. We'll take our time. Hold on. Okay. Right. With ADH. So think of okay, I have a cup right here. Think of this. This is my matcha. Think of if you guys can see my camera, this will be very helpful because it's better to visualize it. Think of this as your kidney tubules, and everything surrounding it like is just like water, whatever. This is one where you want to put in your blood. Your blood has very low water right now. You want more water in your blood if it's too low. ADH releases and causes these kidney tubules to be more permeable. More permeable, meaning more water can go in. I hope that makes sense. If it's more permeable, more water can go in. If there's more water being absorbed back into the blood, in this case, then more water is going to be in your blood, and there's going to be less water when you go to the bathroom, when you pee. And the reasoning is because when you're reabsorbing all of this water into your blood, it's all going to be in your blood. It's not going to be left to like leave your body. Once it's in your blood, it's in your blood. You're not going to be, unless you're sick, you're not going to be peeing blood out. So when there's ADH released, tubules become more permeable. More permeable, more water goes into these tubules and into the blood. Once water has entered the blood, then there's going to be less water left to go to the bathroom or whatever, left basically outside of blood to release when you go to the bathroom and the urine, all of that. So more ADH, more permeable, more water reabsorption, less in the urine. If there's less ADH, less permeable, less water going into blood, more water left in the rest of the body to be released.